You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, isn't it?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off Day with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities, Tuesday, August 25th. Thank you guys for joining us wherever you are and however you are taking part in the show and watching the show, listening to the show. We do greatly appreciate it. Last week of August, Labor Day, a couple weeks away, late this year, football season, college football season, the pros right around the corner. A lot to get to, a lot to talk about here on the show. So thank you guys for taking the time to do it each and every weekday morning at 10 a.m. off the air with Matt Randazzo. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we thank you for that. We appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribing and liking the show. If you have done that, thank you. If you haven't done it, please do that ASAP, and then tell all your friends about what we're doing. As we mentioned, each and every weekday at 10 a.m., almost 2 hours, around 2 hours, 90 minutes to 2 hours of sports talk and a whole bunch more right here on OTA. We're also live on X. X has been very, very good to us. So if you're watching us on X, we always appreciate that as well. We are also streaming on the WHO Plus streaming app and their streaming channel as well. We appreciate our viewers in Central Iowa, nearly a year doing it on that station with WHO. We appreciate that. And of course, a lot to get to for you guys today as well. And also, if you're watching the show and you don't want to look at me, and I don't blame you, you can listen to the show each and every day on anywhere you get your podcast. All the podcasting platforms, whether it be Spotify, iHeart, Podbean, Apple, wherever you get them, put in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, and you can listen to the show each and every day as well. A lot of people do that, whether you're outside cutting grass or running kids around or going to work, working out, whatever it may be. Toss the show on. You can listen to the show each and every day as well. Good show today. I'm really excited to chat with Tom Kakert coming up. It's been a couple weeks since we've had Tommy on. The Big Ten Network was in Iowa City yesterday. So they watched practice. They had an hour special from 5 to 6. And what I think you'd come to find out is we're nowhere near being close to a decision at quarterback as we thought we were, especially after Kids Day. Obviously, we're going to have to make one eventually because the season starts in less than 2 weeks. Coach Ferentz will talk with the media tomorrow, I think 10:45, 11 a.m. during this show. So we'll see if we can kind of get updates from that as well. But everything you get, it sounds like this thing may go into the season a little bit as well. So we'll break all that down. Tom Kakert coming up here in just a matter of moments. Also coming up in a little bit, we'll continue our high school football previews and kind of preview / look back at week one. One of the impressive victories in week one was a shutout victory for Annawan-Wethersfield over Elmwood Broomfield. So we'll talk with the Titans head coach, Tony Gripp, coming up a little bit later on in the show as well. And then we'll kind of continue our conversations or talking about the Davenport Northwest Little League. Of course, we had Greg Tisson on yesterday. He's the head baseball coach at Assumption, and he's Cooper Tisson's dad. Out in Pennsylvania, how the families are dealing with and reacting to all the fun that's going on, missing work, all those things. Really fun conversation with Greg yesterday, but we're going to continue to chat about that. John Marx will be here to talk about that. Week one of the high school football season, and God knows what else. So John Marx will be here in hour number 2 of the show as well. So a lot to get to. And sit down, relax. If you're at work, get your mind off of work a little bit. Enjoy the show as we rock and roll through a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. If you missed yesterday, Julian Vandervelde started the show yesterday talking Iowa football and then Little League baseball, because if anyone doesn't remember, we'll toss it up right now. Let me find it. There it is. This is 2000. This is big old Julian back in 2000. At the time, the biggest Little Leaguer ever at the Little League World Series, 6'1". They went out there, Davenport East Little League in 2000. So we got his perspective on the Little League World Series, watching the kids from Davenport doing what they're doing now, and then talked a lot of Iowa football. So go check out yesterday's show for Julian. We mentioned Greg Tisson was on the show as well, and then Pat Elder from Bureau Valley talking about a nice victory for Bureau Valley to start the season, previewing the Storm as well. So a lot yesterday on the show. Go check that out, but don't do that now. Stick and stay and enjoy today's show before you get going too far as well. Some news and notes from the world of sports. The Cubs won last night. That's a beautiful thing. Cubs win once again after a tough weekend in Seattle. I know they won their last game in Seattle, but to kind of get back on track and now win 2 straight. I'm pulling up my standings they always change in baseball, so I'm quickly scurrying. Cubs 5.5 back. They've won 2 straight. Cardinals sit at 500. They're 5 back in the wild card. So work to do with the wild card as well. The White Sox lost. They are 5 over, but man, that division is so bad. So anyways, that's kind of a look at baseball. We'll talk much more baseball later this week on the show as well. Few programming notes. Friday, we're going to be live at Bettendorf's Tuval Stadium doing the show previewing Bettendorf and Pleasant Valley. Week 1 was for Iowa, for Illinois last week. It's for Iowa this week. They get to kick things off. Of course, Illinois continues, obviously, but all eyes on Iowa this week. And what a way to start. Bettendorf and Pleasant Valley will have the show there coming up this week as well. So we're going to start things off talking Iowa football with our good friend Tom Kakert. And every time Tom Kakert's on the show, we want to thank our great sponsor, the Black and Gold Shop, kind of sponsoring Tommy a little bit this year as well. So every time you see Tom Kakert or Kyle Huseman or anyone from the Hawkeye Report, they're brought to you by the Black and Gold Shop. 3 great locations in the Quad Cities. Obviously, there's one in Coralville and West Des Moines as well. Get ready for the Iowa football season. It kicks off in like 10 days or something like that. So less than 2 weeks. So without further ado, let's talk some football with a familiar face right here on OTA. So joining us now to talk a little bit more about some Iowa football and a quarterback situation and everything else, our good friend Tom Kakert. Are you ready for football finally? Like, I know I feel like we're talking about the same things over and over again, but like there's actually a game now eventually that we can actually talk about football.
Do I have a choice? I don't really have a choice. I have to be ready for it. It's coming here regardless of whether I want it to or not.
But I feel like it's taken forever to get here.
It is. You know why? It just feels like it's a week later than usually is. Yeah. Because of the really late Labor Day.
Well, and I think the thing too is, Tom, over here in the Illinois side of the river for high school football, they started last week. So they started high school football August 21st, and it's a solid 2 weeks before the college starts. And it just seems like forever between the two. So, no, it is. It's going to get here. Iowa and Northern Illinois coming up on September 5th. We did get some news yesterday because we did a podcast, the Hawkeye Report podcast. If anybody doesn't listen to it, make sure you subscribe and listen to that as well. But we talked Sunday night and we talked about quarterbacks. And we got a little bit of an update yesterday. Big Ten Network was in Iowa City all day on Monday. What did you learn from the Big Ten Network and what they found out about what goes on in Iowa City right now?
Well, it seems like what we suspected was probably going to happen seems to be destined to happen. And we should preface things by saying, so the Big Ten Network was there on Monday as scheduled, and Dave Repson really kind of got the thing rolling by putting out a tweet that basically said the quarterbacks were not good. Hecklinski had a lot of turnovers, and that sort of set everybody back a little bit because, and we had talked about this, that he had a rough practice the next one after the breakout performance at the Kids Day, where he threw the 5 touchdown passes. And the theory going around now is, of course, that Hecklinski is just one of those guys that just only plays great when the lights are on. He's just not a practice guy. He's a gamer. So that's going to be the theory going into the season. We'll see if that proves to be true.
Is it the theory or the hope?
Now there's always been a subset of fans that have always believed in the gamer theory. That this has been a topic before among Iowa fans. DJK was a gamer. He wasn't a great practice guy, and why didn't he start? And he wasn't good enough in practice, and that sort of stuff. So there's your first DJK reference in a while.
It's been a while.
That was one of the guys. Yeah. But then they talked to Kirk, and he brought it up, and Tim Lester basically said, what was it? It might not be who starts, but who gets the first at bat. So, and then you're also dovetail into the conversation that I think it was the old Bill Parcells line that if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. I think Parcell might have been the first guy that said that. It might have been somebody else. I don't know. But is Iowa in that situation? Or is it that you have two that you feel good about and that you think can, and maybe you can also look at it from the perspective of, hey, if one of the guys is struggling, you can go to the bullpen pretty quick too and bring somebody out of there that might help you get a win. Like, I use an example like, Matt, you're a Cubs fan. You watch the Cubs. On Sunday, Craig Counsell yanked Shota in the third inning because he was struggling, and he just look, you don't have it today, and brought in Aaron Savali, and he pitched 4 innings of great baseball, and the Cubs scored 19 runs and won easily. So, there's that possibility that you can yank the starter quick and just go to the bullpen with a guy if you need to, if you've got two guys that you feel comfortable with. So, I'm curious, and we got an alert on Monday afternoon from the great Matt Weitzel that said that we get Kirk on Wednesday, and hopefully I'll get the opportunity to ask a question. I never know if I will, because it's such a mob scene sometimes, and us old guys get shoved to the back a little bit. But, I would like to ask Kirk, okay, if this goes into the season, do you have a date or a time, or when do you want to make a decision? When do you feel like, is there a drop dead date of, we got to make this decision before Iowa State? We're going to do this for one game and then go with somebody. Or is it you're going to wait until the Big Ten season and then you say, hey, we got to make a decision after UNI. Hank's going to be our guy, or Jeremy's going to be our guy. I don't know. That's what I'm curious about. Can you put an arbitrary time limit on it?
Yeah.
And just say, we got to make a decision by this time. Otherwise, what are we doing here?
That's Iowa State, isn't it? Like that, you can't let this thing linger 3 games into the season, can you?
Well, they did with Rick and Jake.
Yeah.
I think that one went 4 games, I think.
Yeah. No, we talked to Julian about that on the show yesterday, and he remembers being in the. He brought up, which was an interesting point, how they command the huddle, how you had a different vibe between quarterbacks when they're in the huddle. There's those type of things that I think they're trying to figure out. And you mentioned gaming, being a gamer, and when the lights are on, that's might be what's most important with this thing as we move forward. I think it was a Big Ten Network analyst, I think. Jake Butt maybe, that said hey,
Jake Butt,
they're not going to put, regardless of the quarterbacks, the offense is really good, and they're not going to put a lot on their plate, or something. I'm just paraphrasing something.
Jake Butt also said that he thought that Hank Brown won the day today.
Yeah, I mean, if Heck's out there throwing interception, that's the thing, Tom. The touchdowns are great.
That was the number one thing that Lester mentioned to the Big Ten Network, guys on Monday was what are some of the things that you're judging by? And he said, number 1, turnovers.
Yeah.
And Kirk always talks about, are you moving the team? And then ball security. So, I mean, if you're throwing a bunch of picks, it's hard for Kirk to get past that. Just is.
Let me is it okay to say that, like, because of the offensive line, the running back room, the tight end room, the wide receivers that while this is very important and a quarterback is a quarterback, that it's about moving the offense, not going out there being a star player. Is it? I hate to use the word game manager, Tommy. I hate it. I don't want to use it, but is Iowa looking for a star quarterback, or are they looking for a person who could facilitate the offense and make the offense efficient enough to score 30, 32 points a game, whatever you need?
Looking for, Trent Dilfer, but that's a guy who's just a low mistake guy or whatever, I think the big thing for them is they just want a guy, they want a playmaker, guy who can make some plays.
Yeah.
Because Tim talks about making explosive plays and not just dumping it down, but making explosive plays. They just want to avoid the mistakes. Maybe it seemed like the other thing that kind of got highlighted listening to Phil, seems like the defense might be making some progress. And I mean, Bryce Hawthorne got a mention, Devin Kennedy got a mention from Phil. So Bryce Hawthorne got a mention from the BTN guys. So it seems like maybe they're making some progress with those guys, which would be a positive. But I don't think they want to. This isn't like the 2004 defense walking out there where you could have Drew Tate throw 2 interceptions early in a game and come back and still win comfortably because you have Matt Roth and Jonathan Babineau and Chad Greenway and Abdul Hodge and on and on and on. You had some help. You had some good players.
Yeah. Over the weekend, you put something up on the Hawkeye Report. I don't know if it's still up there, but it was I think the 4 choices were, Hecklinski starts game 1 and is named the starter before game 1. Hecklinski splits time, but he starts first. Hank is named the starter before 1, and then Hank it gets the first at bat, if you will. Read what they were and where are you guys at with this thing? Because I think it's fascinating, the fan perspective to where maybe the actual perspective of the quarterback competition is right now.
Yeah, so I did a poll on just in the lounge. So the most educated, smartest fans in America weighing in. The 4 selections were Hecklinski wins the job in camp. Hank wins the job in camp. Battle goes into the season. Hecklinski starts the opener and they split reps. Battle goes into the season. Brown starts the opener and reps are split. The fan vote, right now, number 3 has the most, which is Hecklinski starts the opener, and that's at 47.8% of the vote. Hecklinski wins the job is at 36.3.
Ooh.
So basically, what is that, like 84% of the vote is on basically the Hecklinski train.
Yeah.
And I told them in this thing, I said, don't vote with what you want. I want what you think is going to happen. Sometimes there's a disconnect in there.
No, but
of people not being able to separate.
Kids' days dictate so much.
Right now, less than 2% of the people voted for Hank Brown wins the job in camp.
I just think the 2 that have them going into game 1, those are the 2 most. I don't know who goes first. No clue. I don't know if it's Hecklinski first. I would lean that way because of Kids' Day, because of public perception. Maybe I'd lean towards it. But I don't know if I feel more confident than ever that coming into game 1, you will see both quarterbacks scheduled to play. There won't be a starter. I mean, there'll be a starter. Somebody will start first, but it'll be his. Now, how does that look?
Because they're going to start game prep later this week.
Yeah. So how does that look? Do you let's say Hecklinski is it set in stone? Do you think we're all right, series 1 is Hecklinski, series 2 is Hank Brown, or first 2 Hecklinski, first 2 Brown, no matter what? Or do you do you watch the first drive? And let's say it's scheduled to be every other one, and Hecklinski slices the defense up. They go down there, score a quick touchdown.
I do not think it will be every other one.
Good.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that. I think it could be
first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter.
I don't know if it'll be quarter, but I think they might give them like 2 or 3 drives and then switch.
Yeah.
And, because you want them to have a chance to kind of build some momentum.
Yeah.
You might just be in a bad situation on a drive. Guy makes a lookout block and you get buried and you're like, oh, well, there's my drive.
Yeah.
What
if Hecklinski goes out there and it's 21-0, 3 series, 3 touchdowns? Hank trots out. What does Kinnick do?
Oh, not good.
Right?
It ain't good.
No, I get it.
It ain't good.
But
especially if he goes 3 and out.
Can't we put to bed the myth that
what
Hecklinski won the job on Kids Day?
He definitely didn't.
But
and I wish
that was put out there by a lot of people on Saturday after that. Now, obviously, he made a good
my comment was you can't unsee what you saw, and you can't.
And I don't think you should.
We saw what happened. I'll also point out that 4 of the 5 touchdown throws were against the second-team defense. So, and Hank and Hecklinski did score against the first defense. Hank did not, and Hank went against the second defense and didn't do great. Hank had a bad day.
Yeah.
He had a really bad day. And Hecklinski had a really good day. But that doesn't define that was a snapshot. That's like one game. And it's not the whole series. You could get like if you're in baseball, if you're in the World Series, got to win 4 out of 7 or whatever. You get beat in that first game like 22-0, but then you win the next 4 in a row. Are you going to be worried about the fact that you got beat 22-0
in
the opener?
It's like tennis. If you lose a set 6-1 and then you go win the next 3 sets, it doesn't matter. I understand. Yeah. So Doc was on last week. There's not too many people that I respect more when it comes to their opinion of football and college football than Sky Doctorman. And he had it 95.5 Hecklinski.
Yeah.
Are you like, I love my percentages. I still think it's 60-40. Don't you? 65-35? Or do you think it's 50-50 like they're selling us?
Well, they're basing it purely on stats, on data. They're not basing it on anything else. But Tim's you heard him tonight or Monday night. He was like, hey, it's data. This is where we're at. I'm basically equal in turnovers and the number of throws and getting rid of the ball on time. All those things, they were equal. So from their perspective, this is a coin flip.
I agree.
So,
I agree. That's what they're saying.
Now, do I think that there's probably a higher probability that Hecklinski goes out there and performs well in the game situation? Based on what we saw at Kids Day, yes.
And I would also
on what we've seen.
He got put in bad positions. I get it, but like the fans also remember the game situation last year. Now I know it's against the best team in the country, the eventual national champion, in the fourth quarter of a tight game. That all being said, like Hank didn't perform well, and Hecklinski, and there's a much bigger difference. There's a huge difference between Kids Day and the fourth quarter against Indiana. I understand that, but I think they want to check that final box when it comes to see how they look on the field in front of an actual Kids Day doesn't count.
The other thing I want to find out is, do you try to structure your offense to get your answers? Is it fair to, if the run game's really cooking, do you just if you're just handing the ball off and running the ball down the field,
that
what are
goes
you
back
learning?
to that goes back to Jake Butt's point. Like, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a running back room, and everything I've been hearing about the offensive line, and obviously we know about the two studs that are going to be first round picks, but I mean, everything I've heard is that whole room and the way they look right now, there's not going to be that big of a drop off from last year. You look at the wide receiver, you look at the tight ends. My God, the Meyer kid might be a starting tight end at most Big Ten schools. So like, I think like if it's Iowa football, like they're just gonna make sure that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you're running for 3, 4, 5 yards and then you hit a tight end over the middle, and then you're running again for 6 and then 9 and then 12 and then hit another tight end over the middle and you score a touchdown, it's not reinventing the wheel, I don't think. But I think Tim
the thing is, are you designing an offense in a game to try to get your answers? Or are you designing an offense for a game to win the game?
I think
those could be two different things.
They can be. I think they want them to be the same thing, don't you? Like, I would say that last year, Iowa won their first game. Gronowski didn't look good. They go to Iowa State and they lose.
Bad.
Yeah, and they go to Iowa State. They lose a tight game. I say going into that game, they designed an offense to get him on track and him to throw the football and get, because he missed spring. I think that was a designed way of getting him going. I don't know. I think they can do the same thing here. Now, mind you, that game, I'm trying to think who it was against. It was when Kirk broke the record.
Albany.
Like, you have to be able to say, like, we can find out our quarterback in game 1 and beat Northern Illinois. Right?
Yeah. They're not very good.
Yeah. So I think you dictate a bottom line is Tim Lester wants to be able to run an offense without training wheels, right? Like, he wants to be able to run an offense that he can run with and go with. So I think like I don't think there's going to be any. Yes, they could probably run the football all day against Northern Illinois and win 35-7 or whatever. But I think you have to find answers coming up on September 5th. What else did we learn from the Big Ten Network's day in Iowa City? Defensively, you talked some about that about a little bit, but it did feel like those guys from Big Ten Network walked away going, well, it might not have the horses that you know about already, but it's still going to be a good defense.
I came away more enthused about the defense just based on what Phil was saying. You know, Phil would be cranky if they were struggling.
Yeah.
You know, that's just Phil. Phil would be cranky. And, you know, I think maybe he's seeing some things. We'll see. I think the other interesting thing is it echoed what Kelvin Bell said, because Kirk in Chicago at Big Ten Media Days had kind of said, essentially might have said, we're just going to revolve guys in there on the defensive line and just keep circulating dudes in there. And now it's listen to KB and now listen to Phil. It's like they're 6 to 8 guys. That's it. It's not going to be 10, 12 guys. Yeah. Just not doing that. We're not doing that. So it's, you know, probably, I would guess, Will Hubert, Gaffney, Stevenson, or Hawthorne, and Devin Kennedy are probably those 4 guys on the tackle position, and then it's probably Yosei, Kenny Merriweather, Drew Campbell, and Kamari Brown as the 4 guys at end. That's my guess.
Yeah. Someone, I think it was Revson, tweeted about talking to, I think, Kelvin Bell, and him saying Julian Manson's going to be a star.
It was Reese Morgan.
Reese Morgan said that. Okay, Reese Morgan said that.
Yeah.
Obviously, true freshman.
You know who else said that?
Let me guess. Tom Kakert.
No.
Oh. Who else?
Let's give some credit
to
our friend Patrick.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he text us that after Kids Day?
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, this kid's going to be a star.
Hey,
He's going to be a
we'll
stud.
give the guy credit. He's gonna be on here tomorrow. We'll
Hey,
let him do a victory lap tomorrow. But
you asked him about that. He's on top. Hey, man can judge talent.
yeah, how quickly can he make a difference?
Maybe he plays special teams this year.
Okay.
I thought that would be interesting if like, because I know Wovoda wants to play special teams, so um, maybe he gets a shot at that too.
Hmm.
That would be my guess.
Special teams. Before we let you get out of here, special teams
Yep.
have been special at the University of Iowa. Everything's different, including coordinator. Have you? And after Kids Day, we got not a ton of answers after Kids Day. Obviously, we'll talk to Kirk on Wednesday. Any rumblings of how they feel about that room, or how does Tom Kakert think that those positions go? Obviously, local interest with Caden Burr.
Caden Burr, Bettendorf Bulldog. I would guess Ozick and Boston Everett are your two guys, but I don't know that they feel great about either of them being consistent. I think that's the thing that Cap is looking for, is he wants consistency. That's the thing you got from Drew Stevens for most of his career, was the consistency. When Torrey Taylor was around, he had some ups and downs his freshman year, but incredibly consistent. And now he's, the punter for the best team, and we'll barely see him this year, probably, because the offense is going to score so many points. But, Torrey Taylor's doing great.
Oh, Jesus. Well, if your quarterback's completing 40% of his passes, they're probably going to punt more often than they think. But I forgot they're going to set the scoring record this year. So I forgot. You're probably right. It happened again last night. There's now more players going from the NFL back to college.
Yeah,
Can I get your thoughts on that? I think it's 2 now. And we talked on the podcast and the Hawkeye
and I just saw Monday night that RJ Luis, who won the Player of the Year in the Big East in 2025, played for the Boston Celtics G League team on a 2-way contract, is now got an injunction, and he's going to play basketball at LSU this year.
No way.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Where does this? Yeah.
And there's a guy. There's the guy got. There's like 2 guys that are going to go to LSU now, I think.
Yep.
That just one of them was an Ole Miss tight end who was with the Browns, Daquan Wright, and he's getting released, and nobody claims him. He's off to the greener pastures of Baton Rouge, where they seem to always have money.
Oh, they just swim in it down there. Obviously, and we talked a little bit about it on your podcast on Sunday, but that leaves the Iowa fans, when all this is going down, mentioning Aaron Graves' name. What do we know about that? Is that a possibility? Is that a thing, or is that just?
Well, there was a decision last week that the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals sided with the NCAA. So in some respects sided with the NCAA, that it couldn't just, there was a judge that made it basically a blanket thing, instead of just for the 16 specific players in Louisiana that were seeking relief from a temporary restraining order. The 10th Circuit Court said, if you want to do it, you can do it, but you have to get your own TRO. So that's where you're at. Is we have gotten. I do know that Iowa was interested. I know that his agent had been contacted, but I don't know anything whether Aaron is interested. Do I think I saw ESPN, I think, they're like, they have a beat writer for every NFL team or whatever, and or most of them, I think. Maybe they have all of them, but they had somebody do a projected 53 for the Ravens, and he was not on it. So, which wasn't a surprise because he was an undrafted free agent.
And when we talked on Sunday night, if he lands on a practice squad, which probably he would somewhere, it's
250K.
Yeah, probably making more at the University of Iowa. Boy, he slides right into Tom. Like that's the thing with these kind of like when if people get cut and they go back to college, which is just wild to me, and they get into a portal and they land someplace that they've never been, it's gonna be game week and they're gonna be walking onto campus at the University of Iowa. Not saying this is going to happen, but Aaron Graves would walk on the campus and he'd feel pretty comfortable, right? Like he's kind of done.
Yeah,
he'd done that.
He'd be in playing shape, and B, he knows the defense. He knows everything that is required of playing defensive
tackle. He'd probably be in the best playing shape of his. I mean, he's going to go from going up against offensive linemen in the NFL to Northern Illinois next week. He might wreck shop.
Yeah. And again, this is a guy who played a team high 598 snaps last year, had 5 sacks. I think it was 6.5 total tackles for loss, and almost had a interception run in for a score or whatever. The thing up in Minnesota, or not Minnesota, at Wisconsin, got robbed.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was second team All Big Ten last year.
Yeah, he's a really good football player that would look really good in the Iowa offense. I've had several people since our podcast on Sunday reach out to me saying, "Is this a thing? Is this?" I don't know. I don't know, but
he would have to get a temporary restraining order.
Where though? In the state of Iowa? I don't understand all that stuff.
Yeah, probably you could find a judge in Iowa that would grant your wish.
Yeah.
And say, "Oh yeah, we'll give you a TRO."
It's like it is like a genie. It's like can I have one wish? I wish to play one more year of college football. I grant you your wish. Go ahead.
But we don't know. We don't know if he wants to do that. But if you offer, it's like I always, I term it the Godfather offer. It's the offer you can't refuse kind of thing. Everybody's got a price for the $1 million man.
Yeah. Exactly. I love it. Last thing, and I said last thing last time, but just quickly, basketball stuff. We talked a little bit about on the podcast, but Caden Daughtry, who had the best summer in the history of basketball, it seems like, still just has one official visit planned, and that's University of Iowa. I know he's got a lot of offers and a lot of interest, but he still hasn't really planned anything yet. Correct?
Yeah, there's some rumblings about maybe he's going to go visit Florida State, but there's nothing that's been announced or locked down or whatever. Florida State's always been a school that he's been interested in, along with Miami and Iowa, and but is he going to make the visit? I don't know. If he does, whatever.
Just get him in the University of Iowa. Let's go.
We'll see.
Get him on campus. Get him signed up. Let's rock.
Hey, if they get him, can we get Scott Weiss off the air?
I've been trying my damnedest. Somehow, some way, we got to get him on. So, yes, let's hope so.
That may get him in a third box with the two of us.
Oh man, how great would that be? What would you do right now
with a polar pop?
What would you do if I went like, and joining us now is Scott Weiss, and then he would be like at the bottom of the screen? That would be pretty sweet, wouldn't it?
Is the great? I'd like it better if my name was spelled correctly on the screen.
Why are you telling me that now? And not? Did you just notice it now?
No, I noticed it right after we got started.
Why didn't you say something?
Because I didn't want to be rude.
Well,
I thought I'd be rude at the end.
I'm gonna have to cut it out. I'll try to cut it out for the social media stuff. So here, let me change it now for you, so you don't have to be so crazy. I'll do it like as we speak. So it's like magic. It's not like I didn't know how to spell. It's just typos are a thing. Hold on. How's that? Magic.
There.
It's like
better.
magic. It's magic what we do around these
You'd
places.
you'd never
It's been
do
so
that.
long
You'd
since
never
you've been
do that.
on that.
Yeah,
that
it's
I
only
didn't know
been
I
like
forgot how
last
to-
week.
Not
Last
2
week.
weeks. It's been 2 weeks.
No,
It's been 2 weeks.
I was on last week.
What
I was
day?
on last week.
What day?
I don't remember.
No.
Thursday.
Because trust me, the people have been coming at me. Where's Kakert? We want Kakert. We need Kakert. So-
We don't need him. Don't need him.
We
I
love-
know Pat Anger never gets his name.
So you're the rose
Spelled
between
wrong.
two thorns. Like at Julian on Monday, Pat on Wednesday, and then you are the rose between two thorns. That's the way I look at it.
Or the wind beneath your wings too.
Something along those lines. So, all right, Tommy. And real quick, you have a fantastic special going on at the HawkeyeReport.com.
Yeah, 75% off. So they keep extending this because we keep selling so many subs. So
It's not a bad thing.
thanks to everybody who's signed up. Appreciate it. Basically, you're paying $29.99 for a full year. So it's like $2.50 a month. It's less than a Starbucks.
Yeah, it's less
You know.
than everything. It's a half gallon of gas in Illinois almost.
Is it less than a Polar Pop?
No, because Polar Pops are going away. Like, we don't have a lot of them left. No, the Polar Pops are still 89 cents. But you
Okay.
go to some of these places, and they charge you $2.50 for.
But it's less than a week's worth of Polar Pops.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, there's no way you can't get anything for. I'm not just trying to pump yourself. Like, you can't get there's no dollar menus anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you can get a $5 meal, and that's so you could for half of a
remember when
$5
Subway
meal.
used to have
$5
Subway
footlong.
used to have the $5 footlong?
That ruined Subway for me because they had that pounded into my head for all those years, and now I go in there and they're like $13 or whatever. I'm like, no, I just want my $5 footlong. Or then it got to be $7, and $7 was still okay, but everything's just too expensive now, Tommy. That's why I'm glad football season's starting, so Corey Sheets can start buying me things when I go to Iowa City. That's my hope. I don't know if it'll happen, but that's my hope.
Hey, we're just a couple weeks away from some Hardee's biscuits. So there you go.
Hardee's breakfast is legit. So get to the HawkeyeReport.com, and Tom Kakert will take care of you for the remainder of the football season.
I'm gonna change. I think the text group's gonna get a change tonight.
You could have easily said, "Hey, my name's spelled wrong," and we would have been fine.
No.
And now I have to edit it for social media, or the people on social media will be like, "Did you know you spelled his name wrong?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know that. It's called a typo." Look around me, Tom. There's not like a cast of characters around here getting this thing on the air. I don't have producers and directors and all those type of things. I just hanging out by myself, trying to make an honest dollar is all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make an honest buck each and every day here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. So, all right, Tommy, get out of here. We'll talk to you soon.
Good to be back on all ears.
There it is. See you, pal. Tom Kakert, or Kakert, if you will, talking Iowa football. A lot of information yesterday. Kirk Ferentz meets with the media tomorrow. Intrigued by that. We talked on Sunday with Tom about on his podcast about when the decision would be made, and it'd be around Wednesday if they made one now going into next week. Everything that comes out of Big Ten network coverage in Iowa City just screams of this thing. Like Tim Lester said, who's up? Who's got the first at bat? Not who's the starter. That might be for Northern Illinois, but by Iowa State, you got to figure out who the guy is and roll with them. I think that's the plan moving forward. So we will see. We got more to get to. You're watching OTA. It's a Tuesday right here in the Quad Cities. We'll be right back. Hawkeye fans, football season is quickly approaching, and only one place can get you game day ready. The Black and Gold Shop is your official retailer of Iowa athletics. The largest selection of Hawkeye apparel, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and more from top brands like Nike, Champion, and Under Armour. And your purchases directly help support Iowa athletics. So stop by one of their 3 great locations in the Quad Cities, Coralville, or West Des Moines. Or shop anytime at blackandgoldshop.com. The Black and Gold Shop, your official apparel provider of Iowa athletics. For over 65 years, Lindquist Ford has proudly served the Quad Cities. and they're just getting started. Looking for a new ride? Check out a healthy mix of new and quality pre-owned vehicles ready for you. Need service? Skip the waiting room. With free pickup and delivery and mobile service, they come to you. No delays, no hassle. From routine maintenance to a full-service collision repair shop, it's fast, friendly, reliable, and always transparent. Lindquist Ford, serving the Quad Cities since 1959. Experience the difference today.
All right, Crawford guys, we need to come up with a new ad campaign. Let's hear what you got.
Oh, let's make a new TV commercial.
No, we need a viral video.
I think my face would look good on a billboard. Come on, what?
Right. We need your head to be bigger.
For heating and air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical, count on the experts at Crawford Company.
Like me, the Crawford lady.
And me, the Crawford guy.
Ugh, you've got to be kidding.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
Welcome back to Off Day with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Week 1 of the high school football season in Illinois is already in the books, and week 2 will be in the books, and it'll be like August 28th. It's crazy. It's weird, but we haven't – college football is still almost 2 weeks away, and high school football is rolling right along. Speaking of rolling right along, they got rolling at Annawan-Wethersfield this past week, and they got a big victory over Elmwood-Brimfield to start their season. We'll talk a little Titans football right now with the head coach out at Annawan-Wethersfield, Tony Gripp. Yeah, we're 2 weeks in, or we're ready for week 2. I'll start with that with you, Coach, and thanks for joining us. Is it weird? Like we're going to be before Labor Day, and we're going to have 2 football games already done?
Yeah, it's really weird. I kind of look forward to watching college football on Saturdays, but I got to wait, After a big win on Friday night, it's nice to wake up and watch some college football and go over last night's film, but yeah. I got to wait another couple weeks for that.
What was your summer like? We've asked all the coaches. I don't think I've had one that said, "Oh, this was great. I loved it being moved up." So yeah. I assume you're probably in the same mold, but was it – obviously, you have to play by the rules that are given, the calendar isn't given. What was the biggest adjustment that maybe you saw over the summer?
Yeah, so honestly, I hate the move up, but when it comes to our summer calendar, we did not change a thing from previous years. So, typically we gave off the week of the 4th of July anyway. So as far as our June calendar went and our July calendar went, we didn't change anything. Now, I'm not sure we're going to do that same thing next year, but I had already sent all of our calendar stuff to the returning parents in like February. So if they had family vacations working around our stuff, I wasn't gonna change that because I had already sent it out. So overall, we had a really good summer, but large part because nothing changed.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. Obviously, a great start to the season. Winning against a program like Elmwood-Brimfield, who always has quality kids, quality coaching, 36-0. What did you take away from week 1 about your team?
Yeah, I think in the style of offense that they play as well, you just you don't know what kids are going to be about it, right? Obviously, you see them practice every single day against their friends and their teammates, but when somebody else lines across from them, how are they going to respond to that? So the biggest thing I think we took away from it as a whole is how competitive our kids are, and we got a lot of dudes that are about fighting for the guy next to them and playing Titan football.
No, it's a beautiful thing. Well, obviously, every year is a different look, different year. Fantastic year last year. It's been a great run at Annawan-Wethersfield. What do you, going into this year, do you rely on the foundation of the guys that have experience? What does this Titans team look like as you guys get into the season now, 1 week into the season?
Yeah, I think, coming in, we knew we had a lot of guys coming back that got significant playing time, but never really were relied on to be the dude. So, we just didn't know how they would kind of fit into that new role of being, relied upon to make all the plays instead of just be kind of a role player. But we had a great summer, and the kids have answered the bell. So we're looking forward to see their development throughout the year, and hopefully we can kind of continue to get better. Our first half on Friday was not great. So we figured it out in the second half and after the lightning delay and all that, but we still didn't string a whole game together. So
You mentioned guys stepping into different roles. You lost a pair of all-staters that we talked a lot about last year on this show, on View from the West, those type of places. It's always, and that's high school football. Who has stepped in to newer roles, different roles? Who I think you've said the word dude like 3 times or 4 times in the interview. Who are the dudes now at Annawan-Wethersfield? Besides you, you're always the dude, but besides the other dudes.
it's not me, honestly. My job's very easy when you got my assistant, so I just kind of hang out. But as far as like the kids on the team and that have came back up front, we have Ryder Speck and Kason Speck, Jackson Dunn. Meyer Heitzler stepped up in a big way. We weren't sure if he would kind of compete at center or tackle. He kind of grew a little bit and moves really well, so we moved him out to tackle. And he's done a great job there. And then as far as the guys on the edge that pretty much have all came back is Cole Goodley, Maddox Thurston, Treston Jape, Danny Heston, Aiden Verstrady and Pierce Childs both got some ticket quarterback on Friday, and both of them are good enough, to have us help us win a lot of games, no matter who's back there. So we got a lot of kids that have stepped in that were kind of juniors last year, and are expecting to have big senior roles. But on the defensive side of the ball, Colin Hodge is a senior that got a lot of playing time last year and started for us. And Reese Rumbold is coming off of an injury. He scored a touchdown on Friday and did well defensively. So, even after being out all last year, it's been great to see him have a lot of success so far over the summer and to start the year.
Coach, we talked with Tom Kakert and Iowa football for the first half hour of the show today about the quarterback competition in Iowa City. Now, I don't know, you mentioned you played 2 on Friday. I don't think your quarterback competition gets the limelight as the Iowa quarterback competition, but is that different for you? I mean, I got to ask the tough questions. Do you want to continue to play 2 guys? Do you want to, how does it look for Titan football this year?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? We've never really had to do this for the most part since I've been here. But, like I said, both kids, one's a senior, one's a junior. Both kids have done everything you've asked them to do. Both obviously great kids academically, character-wise, work hard, great families. So when you evaluate them, it's like, how do we do this, right? I mean, they're both doing everything they're asked to do, and they're both doing a really good job. So we kind of just started out, all right, we're going to give it to the senior to start and have a series and see how it goes. Pierce, let's see what you can do. And, once we got into rhythm, we didn't really rotate as much anymore, but that's not to say, week 2 might be a different story where Pierce might get a lot of the reps and Aiden, doesn't get as much. I think some people might think that's unfair, just give it to the senior or whatever. But at the same time, it's my obligation to give the rest of the kids the best opportunity to win, and to have fun. And it's also my obligation to help those 2 continue to develop and get better so the team can get better. And for us to do that, I think both of them still have to get a tremendous amount of reps and a tremendous amount of playing time, because at the end of the day, you never know what's going to happen on the next play. So that's just kind of the way the coaches and myself have talked about it and viewed it, moving forward.
See, you're way more transparent than Coach Ferentz. Way more transparent. I love that. You need to tell the head hawk to be a little more transparent. No, I'm kidding. Tony Gripp joins us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. You mentioned Friday, and it was the rain delay. What was Friday night like at your stadium with you guys, with what you guys had to go through? I know it was weird all around the Quad Cities. Weather guys I love. James O'Hare is one of my favorite people, but I hate him at the same time because I always used to just during especially football season, I'm like, why is it going to rain on Friday? And again, I don't care if it rains. Rain is fine. Get that lightning nonsense out of here. So what was your Friday night like? How did you guys handle the delay? When did you guys go to delay? Those type of things.
Yeah. I'm not sure how to respond to that without using some foul language.
Is that good,
so it was a cluster to say the least. No, we got through most of the game. I think there was 3 minutes left in the third quarter when we got called out. We had just scored. So, up until that point, everything was kind of fine. It was lightning, though. I mean, I understand what we had to do there. Yeah. But then we had an hour and a half, I think it was. It was about 8:30, 8:45 is when we went in, something like that. And then 10:15-ish, we had to resume the game. So I was pretty upfront with our kids about how you're not going to go, roam the halls. You're going to stay in the locker room, all that good stuff. We had a lot of people give us some fruit and granola bars and some protein bars and, liquid IV stuff like that to kind of keep them hydrated and ready to roll whenever we went back there or back out on the field. But in the meantime, our locker room's under the home gym bleachers. So we could hear the volleyball game going on from the cheerleaders, which got interesting. It kind of got to be a crowd, Annawan-Wethersfield cheerleaders versus Elmwood Brimfield cheerleaders in a volleyball match. Actually had somebody get injured during that time. So that was interesting as well. Yeah, not good. Broken ankle or something like that. Hopefully she's doing a lot better than she was on Friday night. But so, yeah, to say the least, it was good and bad at the same time. It was fine for the situation, but also not fun to sit there for an hour and a half and wait. So
yeah, no, hopefully this Friday night's much better for you guys as well. You look at goals and expectations for this team. Obviously, you guys always have high expectations at that school with that program. Where are they at this year? I know the names and the experience back. Maybe watching this thing grow as the season goes is going to be more interesting or more fun than maybe in years past. Where are you guys at, and where do you put expectations for this team?
Yeah, I think we have a long ways to go, from now until where we want to get to. But at the same time, the expectation is always the same, no matter who we got coming back or who's coming through the program. It's always compete for a conference championship and make a deep playoff run. And one of these times, hopefully give Molina all they can handle instead of losing in the quarters. But, and to be honest, that's kind of that's where you want to get to, right? I don't think it's a secret that that's the premier 1A program, and I don't think it's wrong to admit that. We're just a step behind from them. So to catch up, we're trying to do everything we can to get there. But, like I said, no matter who's coming through the program, it's always to make a deep playoff run and compete for a conference championship. And we got a tough schedule this year. I think a lot of teams in our side of the Lincoln land are going to be much improved from last year. They had a lot coming back, started a lot of sophomores previously. So which is good for us to prepare us for the playoffs. And we got Farmington, who was a quarterfinal team last year in 2A, which is always good. We've kind of got a little bit of a rivalry going there. Whenever we get on the schedule, it's two competitive teams. So, we're happy about the opportunities we have ahead of us, but we got a long ways to go to get where we want to be.
Absolutely. Coach Gripp joining us on Off Day with Matt Randazzo. Coach, we talked about how the season started. It ends differently as well. There's a new playoff structure, and I think you can clinch a playoff spot Friday night if you get a victory in August. But there's buys, there's different everything. Your thoughts on the back end of things as well. We talked about starting things earlier. And do you talk to your kids about it? Do you even to have a meeting before the season and say this is different, or do you just let them be kids and play football? And I guess the adults, and I put quotes up when I call you adults in the room, kind of handle the other stuff.
Yeah, right. No, we don't say a word, honestly. They need to focus on their academics and being good role models to those young kids, and then focus on playing football. We'll take care of the rest and just let them know when they need to be where and what's expected of them, when that time comes. As far as the bye weeks and stuff goes, we'll see how it all shakes out. To be honest with you, I'm not sure I want the bye week. I mean, I do, because that means we're having a good season, but at the same time, we're dealing with 14 through 18-year-old kids, and a week off on a Friday night or Saturday afternoon just kind of throws them off their rhythm. And anytime there's a wrench in the routine can not bode well for us the following week. So I really don't know how I feel about all that. On the flip side, if we're not healthy, it gives us a week to get healthy if we were to have a bye. So I mean that's a positive about it. So we'll see how it all shakes out. Like I said, I don't like the moving up. I don't like the expansion. I feel like we're getting more towards participation trophies and stuff like that. And I'm kind of old school in that regard. And you got to work for what you get. And a 2-win team, I don't think deserves to do that. And I think, it kind of takes away the authenticity of high school football at least in Illinois, where it was just different than everything else, where not everybody got to go to the postseason, and that just made it that much more special. So we'll see.
You look at the end of the season, and I used to get excited for the storylines on week 8 and week 9 weren't always conference championships. They weren't always undefeated seasons. Those are great, and we always talked about that. We'll continue to talk about those. But it was also the 3 and 4 win teams that were looking for 5, or back in the day, the 5-win teams looking for 6. And now it's to this. I completely agree. It's going to be different. And Pat Elder was on yesterday, and he brought up a good point. He goes, they were 1-8 last year, and he goes, we were close in a couple games late. I don't know how excited we would have been to be 2-7 or 3-6 and having to play another week. By that point, if you're at that point of your schedule and you're 1-8 and 2-7, you're probably looking towards basketball season and kind of turning the page on to next year as well. So it's definitely a different way to go through this year, and we'll see how people adjust to it. Before I let you go, some dumb questions for you that I've been asking the coaches. What's the most fun you had this summer that did not involve football?
Well, I went to the Morgan Wallen concert at Soldier Field with one of my buddies currently lives in Charleston, South Carolina. So he flew in there, and we met up in Chicago for the weekend. So anytime you can see an old friend and spend the weekend in a big city, it's always a good time.
Yeah.
And then my family and I went to the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, and we booked it during the old dead week, not expecting, everything to get changed. So, I flew in on Wednesday morning to Moline at about 1 a.m. and started practice that afternoon.
Oh, wow.
And left my family behind. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
where did you stay in the Smoky Mountains? Was it like Pigeon Forge in that place, those areas?
Yep. Pigeon Forge up in a cabin. Yep. Saw some bears and stuff on the balcony, and yeah.
I'm trying to remember. There was another coach last week, and I can't believe I'm missing this. It wasn't. I got to think of it because I even sent them. I'm going to send you the same thing. We went there a couple of years ago, so this is the second time I've told this story in 2 weeks here on the show. But we were there 3 years ago, and we had an Airbnb, and there was like a little fire pit and like railing and everything, and the kids were gonna make hot dogs and those type of things. And I'm kind of the jerk dad that usually like does dumb things to the kids. So we're sitting there, and I'm not kidding, 10 feet away is all of a sudden I look behind the kids and there's a bear. And I'm like, guys, stand up and walk towards me and walk into the house. And they did. And this bear came along, ate all of our food, came up on our deck, came up to the hot tub, and just, it was, yeah. So I'll send you the video. So yeah, I don't love bears. I don't like the Bears in general. I'm a Lions fan, but I don't love bears. I don't need bears around me. So, no, by the way, you should mention the family vacation with your family before the concert with your buddy. Just for next time, lead with the family stuff and then mention the concert with the buddy. Are you superstitious? And if so, what do you do?
Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. I was as a kid, as far as, wearing the same, undershirts, etc., putting on my gear the same way, all that good stuff. Last year I had to have the same khaki shorts or khaki pants and, all that good stuff. But
so yes, you are superstitious. Not sometimes
I am, but
you're not. Yeah.
Well, on Friday I decided, what, I'm not doing that. I wore new shorts. The ones I had for the last 3 years are, basically shot. So
after the slow start, you're probably like, where are my shorts, right?
Right. Yeah. It crossed my mind. It crossed my mind. So yes, I'm sure I'll probably, if anything happens negatively in the next couple of weeks, I'll probably have to go back. I'm trying to get rid of that. So
I love it. If I'm coming out to Annawan, Kewanee, that area, whatever, I'm a foodie. Where are you taking me to eat? Where are you telling me to go eat? You don't have to buy. What's the places? What's your favorites out when it comes to food?
In Kewanee, you can't go wrong with Cerno's. It doesn't matter if you get pizza, burger, chicken. Like it's top notch food. In Annawan, Mix is really good. Good bar and grill there on 78 on the 4-way. That's really good. I would also say if, it's a weekend and you got to check their Facebook, but if the barn in Atkinson is selling pizza that night, you cannot go wrong.
Really?
You cannot go
Not heard
wrong.
this.
You got to, oh yeah, Gordo's Barn. It's
All right.
fantastic pizza. A+.
Noted. Not duded. Noted. Last one. If you weren't able to coach football, be a teacher, do those kind of things, what would you be doing with your life?
Oh boy.
Besides jail. I mean, jail is obviously the first. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Well, you know what they say, those that can't do teach, and those that can't teach PE. So I'm guilty of both of those things. So there's not much I can do.
Stop.
No, I don't know. I'd probably get into the ag industry in some way, shape, or form. Like I worked at Wiffles Hybrids in the summertime, throughout college and stuff like that. So I imagine I'd probably be in that field in some regard.
Yeah, and not talking on your phone to me right now. See, it's a beautiful,
probably not.
You chose the right or wrong career path. Who knows? But Coach, who's this week? I should know this off the top of my head. Who do you got this week?
Abingdon Avon.
All right, and they're improved. They're a good football team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, they are. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck this week.
They got good skills.
Best of luck this week.
No, I was just gonna say.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say they got really good skills coming back and some big dudes up front. It should be a good game.
And down there or up where you guys are?
It's in Annawan.
All right, in Annawan. Oh, I love the games in Annawan. Those were always my favorites.
Yeah.
So, Coach, appreciate it. Have a great week. Best of luck this season, and hopefully we get to do this a bunch. So keep winning. Okay.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, buddy. That is Tony Gripp, the head coach at Annawan-Wethersfield, joining us on Off There with Matt Randazzo. He's got to get back and do teaching stuff and be a real productive member of society. So we got more to get to. Up after the break, we'll talk with John Marx about the Little League World Series, some more high school football, a whole bunch of different stuff. That's next right here on OTA. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. So many things going on in the world of sports here in the Quad Cities. You look at the Little League World Series. We had a great time yesterday. First, Julian Vandervelde was great because he gives you the Iowa aspect of football, which is coming up right around the corner. And then you remember big old Julian, 6'1" Julian back in 2000 playing for Davenport East. So great perspective of what it's like going out to Williamsport. And while, yes, it's been, and Julian hates to hear this, it's been 26 years. It's also not much has changed. A lot is similar to what they do out there, which is really cool. Also talked with Greg Thisson, Cooper Tisson's dad, about what's going on and how the families are dealing with things. So a lot of fun with the Little League World Series. High school football's going. Iowa football, Illinois football right around the corner as well. So much to talk about. And who do I talk with? I don't have anybody to... Oh, my goodness. John Marx is always there when I need somebody to talk to. And that, I mean that literally and on the show as well. John Marx is always there when I need somebody to talk to. How are you, my friend?
I'm well, Pally. And thank you for giving me the chance to sit down with you. And we had a lot of fun before we went on the air talking about how life has affected both of us.
It's funny because there's a lot of times I'll do like some of these interviews and I'll record them in advance and I'll just BS with somebody for like 20 minutes and I'm like, well, hell, I should have just pushed record. We could have been done. But we also could have been, well, a lot of those interviews I probably could have been canceled as well if I recorded it. So
absolutely canceled.
Or in trouble one way, shape or form.
Some way.
Little League World Series stuff. And I go back to my first memories of this whole thing is Julian. I think I was in college, but I remember this huge 6'1" kid and we showed the picture yesterday of Julian. In fact, I'll toss it up right now because I have it with me. But there's Julian from way back in 2000, and obviously the biggest kid at the time to ever play in the Little League World Series. It is a special event. Before we get into what Davenport Northwest is doing, your thoughts on what they do at Williamsport when it comes to the Little League baseball and almost traditions and those type of things are really, really preserved out at Williamsport.
I talked to Eric Lutke, whose son's on the team yesterday. Eric's a good friend. So's Tiss and Mike Kane, whose sons are on the team. I had the opportunity to chat with actually all of them yesterday about something MediaCom wants to do for everybody. Eric is waiting until hopefully Sunday when they win the international championship, the world championship after winning the U.S. championship on Saturday, when we're not going to get in a hurry, because the minute after the last pitch or last moment, my son, then we're going to the hill and we're going to get our cardboard and we're going to slide down the hill. Now, again, you have 4 boys and you have experienced many, many wonderful things with your boys. I have had the opportunity to do as well with my son on many, many opportunities athletically. That's the one thing I don't think I've ever done that I would love to do is slide down that hill. Of course, my doctors would lose their minds because I have 2 fake hips. But that's the kind of thing. That's what's neat. It's more, Maddie, than staying in the village, being with your guys. It's more than the cool uniforms. It's more than the batting gloves that Easton gives you. It's more than all the swag that you're getting for playing and being part of it. It's you, and like we talked about on Friday nights, you and this group say it's you and 12 or 13 of your best buddies, and you're going to scrap with people you have no idea where they came from or what they're about, but you're all in there for the same thing, and you're all just kids playing a game. That is the most pure part of baseball, is you are just playing a game and having a good time. There's no X. No one cares about your X's velo. You hit a home run, great. No one cares how many breaking balls, which I disagree with, that you throw with. No one cares about anything other than playing, having a good time, and enjoying the experience. And it truly, truly is a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, Johnny, you look at it and you mentioned the parent aspect of it, and I call Coach Thisson. Greg was on the show yesterday, and we talked about that side of things because, and we know, and any parent knows, it's not just you, me, or Greg or anybody, but like you care so much about your life when you're living it and growing up and doing, and then you have kids, and then all of a sudden your life be damned. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Like the only thing is your kids and their happiness and those kind of things. And we talked about that a little bit as well. I also talked to him because Johnny, what was it? 3 months ago, he was winning a state championship. If that long, not even that. 2 months ago, last month.
Less than that,
last month he was winning a state championship at Assumption, and so coaching and watching them, and then watching what Cooper and this team's doing. I asked him, the tough question to compare and contrast, and he did that. Take a listen, and we'll talk about it.
No, they're very similar. Very similar. I think my feels were very similar in both of those games where. You're just pulling so hard, you know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing you can do. Like you're not pitching, you're not the hitter. There's nothing you can do, but you're just pulling for it. You just want it to happen. You're wishing it to happen, and you're waiting for it to happen. And then when it does, it's like an explosion of emotion where it's just like, we're over that hump. Like we got that accomplished. So yeah, I think that game 1 and the state championship, very, very, very similar emotions.
Yeah, you have to think they're similar. Boy, I think what he's going. So my only thing, and he answered it, and he knows way more than I do. My only thing I'd say is he does have a little say with Assumption because he's the head coach and he's pulling strings and making decisions. I just think he's got to feel like a fish out of water sometimes in the stands, watching his son but being a dad, and there's nothing wrong with being a dad and watching it from that angle as well.
It's hard, though, because you got to remember Greg was a great player himself.
Oh, yeah.
Played the game for a living. Tremendous player. So he understands everything that's going on the field. You ooh and ah. You and he. What the tough thing for him, but he does it so well, is he lets the coaches coach, and he's a dad. And that's hard, Maddie, because you've experienced. You understand what it's like. You want to, but the best thing he does is just. And he's, God bless him, that he knows how to just sit back, clap, enjoy, and just encourage and allow the people who have Assumption people allow him to coach baseball. I mean, who better? Shut up and let the guy who knows what he's doing do his job. And then he's turned his son over to, I believe, 3 coaches that know the game, care about his son. So that's a winning proposition for him. Yeah, but is it tough? Heck yes, it's tough. My goodness, we all squirm.
Yeah, easier said than done, and it's just the reaction of growing up talking. But we both talked, like, and anybody listening to this needs to know this too. Like the hay's in the barn for baseball. When your kid's playing baseball and he's at the pitch, like just I mean, ever so often I'll yell to Chase like attack mode is all I'll yell as he goes up there because I want him to be aggressive.
I've sat with you.
But other than that, like you can't really, like, you got some parents I'm not making, like, but like they'll be like, hey, your hands, this, that, what, just the hay's in the barn. And that's maybe what the first base coach's job is, to, hey, head in there, like those kind of things. But like just being a parent and be encouraging. And that's what I'm sure Greg's doing at the biggest stage of them all in Williamsport.
Here's, and I politely try to tell, and again, I tell parents before the season, and it oftentimes gets me in trouble. You know nothing more about the game than I do. Yeah. Allow us to coach, and then there have been times during games, and you've seen this, and it might have gotten me in a little trouble here and there. I've told parents to shut up. I've told people who complain to the umpires during the game, told them to shut up. It does no good. So that's my problem. Yeah, you have to let them either have success or failure, and it's a game of failure. And but you have to let them. You have to shut your mouth, like you said. Be encouraging. Come on, do this,
yeah.
But don't tell them what to do. Their mind's already full, Matt.
Yeah.
And you want to tell that young, he's 12. You want to tell him to relax, clear your head, and go to work. Well, there's things already in their head that's not leaving, and you adding to it does nothing but hinder them. And I also like the fact that you brought on a guy, as you talked about the feeling at the state championship, and you're talking. I'm 0-5 in state championship games. Just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah.
And thanks for bringing that up. Wow, he wins one every 15 minutes.
Yeah, it feels like, well, heck, and it feels like that might continue at Assumption as well. So you're saying something you've said has gotten you in trouble? I can't fathom. I can't imagine. I'll try to wrap my head around it later on today. They play Nevada coming up on a Wednesday. The way they've won is I think something that we've talked a lot about and need to talk about, because they're not just, and Julian was on, and they made it to the U.S. championship game. They went 2-1 and got to the U.S. championship game. And I think he said it was the last year before they expanded to 8. That was back when it was just like the 4 from the United States and the 4 from internationally. So I thought that was, but 15 strikeouts, 15 plus strikeouts, whatever it is, 15 strikeouts in 5 2/3 and 5 1/3, whatever it is, both hit home runs. I know it's like when you look at X's and O's wise at this level, it's good to have a stud, but that stud can only pitch. Like they've got 2 dudes that you look at this weekend and and I do think they got, I mean, I don't know enough to know. I've never watched this team before this week and what they've been going through, but I've been told that Cannon Cane's a pretty good pitcher. He showed it by blowing away the last pitch of our last batter in the last game. But I think, boy, if people want to start handicapping this thing and can they win it all, man, hopefully they got 3 games left. And it's against, and they got 2 studs and another kid that's really darn good. Probably, I mean, whatever, maybe a stud too. I feel like Julian told me off the air yesterday that they had a really good pitcher and then they pieced things together. And boy, I feel like the difference in this is, for him back in the day. For Julian's team back in the day. It helped to have an Argo back then. Yeah, but that's true. You got to feel like their position, I guess, long question, you got to feel they're really good position because of the pitching they do have.
And they have 3 that we know, 3 tremendous arms in the young men that you just talked about. The other part of it is, and we haven't seen this, but because of what's been on television, but they pick it up. They all can swing it. I know it was a 1-0 game. It happens. They all pick it up. They know where to go with it. They're fundamentally sound. That's the other thing, Matty. These kids are amazingly fundamentally sound. They've all played together. Some of the 12U national team with a couple of them have had great experiences so far, and nothing. And this is what I've noticed. Nothing phases them. They go if there's a pitcher, ball 1, okay, next pitch. Ground ball here, something gets awry, runners get on base, next pitch. They have an amazing mentality at 12 years old to be able to move to the next pitch. It's like next play in football and take care of business. They can pick it up, they can swing it window, and they, as you said, they have arms, and that's what you need. You have to throw strikes, and that's the beautiful thing at their ages. You've got guys that throw strikes and challenge hitters, and then they know the guys behind them, if the ball's in play, will pick it up.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is you look
They're
at
good.
That AJ Johnson would get. I mean, he threw strikes. They got to points. It was 3-1, and they never panicked. Came back from 3-1 counts. I will say this. And this isn't a negative at all, but they really, and I shouldn't say this because that first game was tense and stressful the entire time, but they haven't faced a ton of adversity yet. I mean, they've outscored teams 7-0, so hopefully they don't have to. I know
the regional.
Greg mentioned it. Yeah, that's true. And Greg mentioned it yesterday. Hopefully, I know this is perfect scenario that they can maybe get a lead, and Cooper maybe throws 3 innings and then has a little bit left for Sunday.
That's always a hope.
Type of thing. That's probably the hope. But
you can't get past that.
Yeah, you got to win. You got to win Wednesday first before you do anything else in between. Hey, high school football season start. So again, it's the Davenport Little Leaguers Wednesday, 2:00. I think ESPN, I'm assuming.
Yes.
ESPN.
We'll all be glued to it.
Yeah, everybody's going to be glued to that. And we'll talk a little more about it tomorrow, and we'll do some stuff on Thursday with it as well. Hopefully we can talk to a smiling Greg Tisson again, or maybe Michael Caine, maybe another parent as well. I thought that was, you would love to talk to the kids, and we had them on last week as they were going out there and getting ready to play. But I don't want to, like somebody said, and one of my kids said, hey, are you going to have some of the kids on? And I'm like, I don't want to bug them. Like they're in their bubble. They're doing their thing. I don't know, but I really love to get the perspective from parents because I think that's a really neat thing as well. High school football started on Friday, week 1 on the Illinois side. Assumption did play week 0 in Iowa. You were on the call of the Assumption and Geneseo game. I guess your thoughts on that game. We were there live for our show on Friday. I'm bullish on both teams. I think, yes, Geneseo lost 2 very good football players in McAvoy and Wine-Zero. But I think they returned so much. The trenches are really good. They have 2 running backs that you know of already. I was high on both teams. Seems like the game delivered. You were there. Your thoughts on week 1 between 2 schools that I think are going to have good seasons?
I want to say the linebackers, Massey, 33, was a man among boys for Geneseo. Phenomenal player. Number 33, great player. Loved everything about it. Geneseo will run the ball down your throat. I love it. They are well coached. We know with Coach Furlong and his staff. Assumption was without 2 really important linemen who will, when healthy. Now they're going to have a tough go with Solon this week, and I want Assumption people to understand: do not panic. If you're 1-1, it's a bonus. If you're 0-2, do not panic one bit, because when healthy, that football team will probably has an opportunity to win it 6 or more, maybe run the table. They're that good. They're that skilled. I was really impressed with the quarterback. I know he threw a couple interceptions, trying to do a little too much. The quarterback, from Geneseo, he's really good. That being left-handed. They were to the boundary. They did stuff so to the boundary and away from the boundary. They're not going to stray from what they do, and they are just so sound fundamentally. But for those of you out there watching Assumption, do not, and I cannot emphasize this enough, do not panic. You have a tremendous quarterback. You have some skill guys that can make some things happen, and when you get a couple more linemen healthy, and they will be. They're going to be really, really good. But right now, Geneseo is just, oh my goodness, they enjoy punching you right in the face and then waiting for you to punch them back. And if you don't punch them hard enough, then they win. So they're really, really good. And you give the other point is it was this close to Assumption winning the game.
Yeah.
So take it for what the one thing that hurt me all last week, and I'm not a big fan of Illinois starting early, was Moline losing to Rochester. And you know how much I hate Rochester.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, hate is a really bad word. I dislike Rochester.
No, I don't think hate is a strong enough word for you when it comes to Rochester.
When it comes to Rochester?
Yeah. No, and I
just don't like their coach.
There were some interesting results around the area. I think with that too, when you mentioned Moline falling to Rochester, and it was, what was it? 21-17.
21-17.
Really good football team.
Yep.
Really good game. Moline's the same thing. Moline's going to be outstanding this year.
Yes.
I was impressed with Kewanee. They went to Rock Ridge, almost beat
Rock
Ridge. And
Rock Ridge.
I do want to mention that and I meant to mention it yesterday on the show, but I thought it was really cool because they got the job done, and a win is a win. You know, as a coach, a win is a win. I think Kewanee's going to be a lot better, but they delivered the game ball to Drew Hawk.
Game ball.
And I thought that was really, really cool. Everything that young man's been through, continues to go through. It's funny because, you know, and out in this area, I'll hear Rock Ridge fans and I'll talk with them, and they won. But like, they're to the point now where like they're kind of spoiled a little bit, where like, and I mean that nicely, where we only won, or hey, a win is a win. And then like, so anybody who was like worried, panicked, cranky about a win, I thought it put perspective on things when you see the picture on social media of them giving a game ball to a young man that would have loved to play football on Friday as well. I thought that was really cool too. So
that and that just shows you. And they wore I saw the staff and everybody wearing the T-shirt. Yes, that puts everything in perspective. Maddie, I'm sure you had 1,000. That's maybe excessive. There were a lot of experts who have known nothing about the game that were saying, well, we only beat Kewanee 31-27. Well, Kewanee's pretty good. Yeah. Second of all, the fact that you won a high school football game. And then the reality of all this is you got to give a game ball to somebody special who's struggling, who's fighting for all the it's just one second you can have everything, and 1 second you can have some certain things taken away from you. And I love the fact that they got to enjoy giving him the game ball. You don't want to give anybody a game ball when you lose. So those naysayers or we got to fix this guys, and there's lots of them running around out there, need to take a deep breath and enjoy the fact that you got a big win. And the most important thing is you got to share that moment with somebody that means a lot to you.
Johnny, if Rock Ridge goes 8-1, 7-2, 9-0, whatever it is, let's say they go 7-2. Let's say they go 8-1. Do you think anybody in late October is going to go, whew? But you know what? We barely beat Kewanee in the first week of the season with new faces, and you know, as a coach, the biggest improvements that teams will have and adjustments. Maybe I don't think it'll be an improvement for Rock Ridge, more of an adjustment of getting used to new people and new places and a few things like that. Yep. Still have Cullen Schweigen. They'll be okay. A couple quick things. Boy, I forgot one of them that I was going to, but Riverdale's going to be really good. I think last year we did an Orion Riverdale game out there, but I'm rooting for Guy Derricks. I love that he's a great dude.
Great dude.
I love the story behind that because they didn't have a football team for varsity 5 years ago, whatever it was, and now they're doing what they're doing now, which is awesome. But like Brian Stocking predicted them to go undefeated. And now I watched them this weekend and I'm like, man, they might, which I don't like the fact that like Brian Stocking might be right with something. But we did our instant reacts show with View from the West on Friday. And I should have pulled the clip for you and just gotten your just overall reaction. But Brian Stocking, and I love him. He's one of my favorite people, and he's rolling his eyes right now that I'm talking about this. But he kept talking about how on Friday night, specialty teams were really important, and that specialty teams, and he kept calling them specialty teams instead of special teams. And so, of course, me, because I'm an ass, I was like, well, it's not specialty teams, it's special teams. And he claims that some people call them specialty teams. As somebody who's coached special teams, have you ever heard anybody use the term specialty teams in your life ever?
Okay. No, never. And secondly to that, when my son would go run out in front of 75,000 people to snap a football, I had never heard anybody say special teams time. It's
I love him. I love that kid.
We all love.
The best is he can't just say he was wrong. He can't. He has to.
No, he can't.
Yeah, he's very much like my brother Larry in those aspects. They just can't say they're wrong sometimes.
Okay, but when you see when you get your 2 deep sheet for Iowa on Saturday mornings, does it say anything? It might say specialist, but it doesn't say specialty teams.
Specialties.
Does it? I know it doesn't. I get the same card.
I should have got it from Greg and just to let you listen to it. I loved it. In fact, if I'm View from the West, I have a Brian Stocking shirt that says specialty teams, and that thing smells like hotcakes. Like it's $1 billion idea if they jump on and do that. Hey, where are you at this Friday?
A big fist fight. Bettendorf hosting Pleasant Valley.
Yeah, and I hear they don't like each other.
No, we can't. No, you know what? It's Kumbaya week. Yeah. Not with those two. Rusty can't be 5-4 and not getting the playoffs. It drives him nuts. Aaron certainly can't be 4-5 from a season ago, and walk the streets of Bettendorf. So something's got to give. And they're both really, really good football teams. And as we know, those are 2A, great guys, and B, phenomenal football coaches. But you know what? They're even better people.
Yeah.
It'll be a great night.
Yes, with everything you just said, and I think they're both better. I talked with Rusty. Yep. We'll talk with Aaron, hopefully on Friday, we're going to be there for our show at 10 a.m.
That's a good job when you do that.
Yeah, and hopefully, and we'll talk with Aaron. But talking with Rusty, they played a lot of young kids last year that are talented that they don't normally have to do at Pleasant Valley. Yeah, and at Bettendorf. So usually those things pay off in a big time way. Get back to work, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. See you, pal.
Appreciate you, pal. Thank you.
That is John Marx talking a little sports with us on Off Day with Matt Randazzo. Best of luck to the Davenport Little League. And yeah, high school football, tons to talk about. Don't forget the Instant React show comes your way each and every Friday night at 10:15. And I'm going to be on it most weeks. So subscribe to that and enjoy high school football talk at its finest. We got a lot more to get to. You're watching OTA. It's a Tuesday right here in the Quad Cities. We'll be right back.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities, Tuesday, August 25th. Thank you guys for watching. However you are taking part in the program, we definitely do appreciate it. It's been a fun show. Tom Kakert talking a lot of Iowa football, the quarterback competition that it is, and it looks like it's probably going to go into week one, and you'll probably see both players. I think Tim Lester mentioned yesterday on the Big Ten Network, maybe it's more about who's up first or who's got first at bat than it does who the starter is. So we will see, but go back and check out any Iowa football conversation that we had if you're just joining us at the very beginning of the show. We also talked a little Annawan-Wethersfield football with Tony Gripp. The Titans out to a 1-0 start to the season. So we wish them the best of luck throughout the year. And also John Marx talking some Little League baseball, high school football, and so much more. Now, in our conversation with Tom Kakert, excuse me, we talked a little bit about the Aaron Graves possibility. Well, this morning during the show, it's come about that it looks as if the Big Ten is set to pass a rule that prohibits players from returning to college from the NFL. So that would put an end to any hopes of Aaron Graves coming back to the University of Iowa. As we spoke earlier, we didn't have a huge expectation on it that it would happen. It was just something that was out there. It looks like that the Big Ten will make it so that that's not going to be possible, but we will wait and see how everything unfolds. Again, didn't think it was really going to be a thing either, but we will wait and see. Also, during the show, we've seen rivalry jerseys be introduced on social media. The Bears have one of them. They'll wear one game this week, I believe, against the Packers this year. Against the Packers, and then my Lions did as well. I don't love the Lions one. It's fine. I mean, it's Lions football, so it's good, but it's didn't do a ton for me. Bears mainly orange, I believe, with blue, I think. Man, what was that? I don't want to misspeak, but I think that's what it was. Scott Doctorman was talking about it on social media. Scott's like me. He's a traditionalist. He likes I used to love it when the Lions had throwbacks and it was simply the blue and the silver helmet. So I can't get it up to you guys. No, it's not. No, it's blue with orange pants, it looks like, and an orange helmet as well. So you can go look at it on Bears social media and those type of things. So anyways, thoughts on those, love to have them. But I am a traditionalist when it comes to certain things when it comes to football. So I'm sure Bears fans will be weighing in here in the very near future as well. So again, a friendly reminder, this week we'll be doing our show on Friday on the road at Tuville Stadium. It's Bettendorf versus Pleasant Valley. We'll take a look at that game, preview the rest of the week 1 in Iowa, week 2 now in Illinois. We'll chat with the boys from View from the West about that as well. So also, it looks like Moline baseball and softball are going to be getting brand new stadiums and fields. Stadiums, I don't know if stadiums is the right word. Fields, though, for sure. There's some renderings out there. It passed 7-0 by the school board yesterday. So I'm hoping to have Todd Thompson on the show tomorrow to talk a little more about that as well. So also on the show tomorrow, Pat Anger returns to OTA. It's like, I feel like I'm a wrestling promoter. Pat Anger returns to the WWE. Pat Anger returns to OTA. We'll chat with Pat. We like to get him on Mondays. It was the first day of school. So we went Julian Vandervelde, then Tom Kakert, then Pat Anger. Pretty good week so far if you're an Iowa football fan or Iowa fan in general. So Pat Anger will be on the show tomorrow. Also, Ty Taylor will be on the show tomorrow to talk track football and maybe some news in the track as well and this week's games coming up. So a lot to get to on tomorrow's show. Friday we're on the road. Thursday we'll have a great show for you as well. We work our way closer and closer to football season in general. I know high schools have started in Illinois. Iowa's this week. College right around the corner. The NFL right after that. And we'll have tons to talk about right here and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. If you missed anything from this week and the previous weeks, go check them out. A couple Fridays ago, we did our show from Iowa City for Iowa Football Media Day. It was a blast. It was a ton of fun. Go check that out as well. People still watching and enjoying that. So please do that. Yesterday's show, lots of people watched. Davenport Northwest, Little Leaguers, Julian Vandervelde, a whole bunch more. So watch the old shows if you missed them. Get ready for the new shows. And as we've talked about, we do this each and every weekday at 10 a.m. right here in the Quad Cities. But it doesn't matter if you're in the Quad Cities, wherever you're at, check out Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. And, of course, thank you to our sponsors, because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you to them. Black and Gold Shop, a new sponsor this month as well. But we thank Linquist Ford is fantastic. Crawford Company, Hungry Hobo, Godfather's Pizza is delicious, so we thank them as well. Rafferty's Funeral Home, Snoop's Chips and Salsa, and his food is fantastic as well. So hopefully I'm not missing anybody as I go through my head and think of the ones that we have. I think I got everybody. And also thank you to MPX, Mobile Party Experiences. They help us out on Fridays with our shows on the road. Mobile Party Experience is fantastic as well. If you're interested in joining us and sponsoring and being part of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, let me know. We'd love to chat and make a commercial for you and have a bunch of fun as well. So thank you guys so much for watching a Tuesday edition of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We'll be back with a brand new episode coming your way tomorrow. We'll see you then.